Vanna.
Sri Lanka will vote for a new parliament on Monday. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa is hoping to be one of its 225 members. He's been working hard on the campaign trail to convince voters. Nidhi Dutt reports.
This is perhaps the hardest election campaign in the political career of Mahinda Rajapaksa. Sri Lanka's former president can still pull a crowd, but what he really needs is for these supporters to vote for him.
I'm disappointed when I see all of this. After the war ended, the underworld left the country and now they are back. But the investors are all leaving. This government is telling lies and they came to power with these lies. That's how they do politics.
To make sure his message is heard beyond campaign rallies, Rajapaksa is turning to people such as Nandasena Ratnayaka, a lieutenant in the Sri Lankan army. Ratnayaka lost his legs during a Tamil tiger's ambush 7 years ago. Ratnayaka's injuries are a permanent reminder of the final stages of a long civil war, which Rajapaksa is credited with ending.
Mahinda Rajapaksa does what he says. He's a strong leader, that's why we like him. For him, I'm ready to sacrifice my life.
Rajapaksa's traditional political base is nestled deep in southern Sri Lanka. But after losing the presidential election in January, he's moved to the northwestern district of Kurunegala. Volunteers campaigning for Rajapaksa's election to parliament are finding sympathetic ears here because most people belong to Sri Lanka's majority Sinhalese community. Tens of thousands of families also have relatives who are either serving in the military or have done. The former president needs them to vote for him, but not all military personnel he once led are convinced of his political comeback. Retired Flight Sergeant Jayala Chandrasekhar admires the former president for his wartime leadership, but he doesn't think his return to politics is good for Sri Lanka.
If Rajapaksa becomes Prime Minister, he will control things and won't allow the President to work independently. He'll interfere and there will be conflict.
Wary of this threat, Sri Lanka's new leaders are eager to remind people they voted for change a few months ago.
After 10 years in power, people rejected Mahinda Rajapaksa. People sent him back to his village. People elected new president, prime minister, cabinet. People aren't going to change their minds.
Rajapaksa seems to think otherwise. We asked him why Sri Lankans should back his return to politics. Pointing to a cheering crowd, he told us to ask them. Nidhi Dutt, Aljazzera, Homagama, Sri Lanka.
At least 19 people have been